Halo Campaign Evolved is a ground-up remake, poised to do more than just modernize. Yes, the original remains one of the greatest shooters ever made, but its flaws are becoming increasingly obvious 25 years after its first release. Its drawbacks were magnified by 2011's remastered Anniversary Editions 2, confusing navigation, recycled encounters, repetitive architecture, and so on. Yet, Campaign Evolved appears less interested in replacing Halo. Indeed, Halo Studios have repeatedly reminded us that the original game will continue to exist, with the remake refining the compromises of early 2000s hardware and design philosophy. The most notable refinement is in Campaign Evolved's rebuilt levels. In essence, a handful of the original levels became repetitive, with Bungie forced to balance their ambition with memory limitations and processing power. Countless corridors, for instance, jutted and zigzagged to hide internal loading, interrupting momentum with unnecessary deviations, while room templates were reused across countless arenas. The library's changes have been heavily publicized in the lead-up to Campaign Evolved's release, and we highlighted its redesign in our 15 Things to Know feature already. But in summary, the library has undergone wholesale restructuring, with each floor now harboring its own identity through unique architectural detail and color palettes. Meanwhile, clear navigation and less flood repetition ensures more consistent pacing throughout that level. Assault on the control room, one of Combat Evolved's largest levels, has seen significant redesign as well. The aforementioned loading corridors have been replaced by straight transitional run-throughs, while this level more than most has been tweaked to accommodate up to 4-player co-op. And again, like the library, individual rooms have been redesigned to be distinct from one another. Now, what could have been felt as repetitive slog is actually revitalized here. 343 Guilty Spark broadens its outdoor swamp sections to encourage exploration, while giving the narrative more time to marinate. Meanwhile, iconic level The Silent Cartographer is bringing more than bigger beaches. Yes, one of Combat Evolved's best levels is a prime example of how the remake scales classic spaces for 4-player co-op, all whilst making the environment easier to read through more distinct Forerunner architecture, which now acts as visual landmarks rather than just set dressing. While Campaign Evolved's structural redesigns should make individual levels more enjoyable to play, they're also solving one of the original's most persistent problems: getting lost. Back in 2001, it was an understandable consequence of the hardware limitations Bungie faced, but it's aged poorly in an era where readable environments are crucial. Updating the repeating geometry and near-identical corridors of Forerunner outcrops and interiors is the surface-level solution Halo Studios have implemented to ensure that you don't lose your bearings, but the remake also offers subtler guidance in the form of updated Cortana dialogue and environmental signposting. Going back to Silent Cartographer, extra Forerunner structures have been added to the skyline, imposing themselves as natural orientation points as you battle along the coastline. This philosophy has been copied across the entire remake, resulting in a campaign that isn't just easier to follow, but one that maintains a stronger momentum. You see, by making environments easier to read, Halo Studios preserves your natural inclination to explore, by removing the tendency for it to devolve into aimless wandering. And, of course, these refinements allow Campaign Evolved's firefights, its storytelling, and set pieces to flow into one another with far less friction than before. Elsewhere, Campaign Evolved's improvements aren't limited to just level design. No, the remake also broadens Combat Evolved's sandbox, introducing new weapons from later titles alongside smarter enemy behaviors, to create encounters that are more emergent and less predictable than before. Enemies, for one, haven't just received a boost in difficulty or had their numbers increased. Instead, through the remake's wider tactical toolkit, the Flood can be dealt with in a myriad of new ways. Now, before we get into that, the remake's expanded arsenal fills several gaps in Master Chief's 2001 collection. Halo 2's Battle Rifle introduces a dedicated mid-range option, while the Luminous Energy Sword finally becomes a fully usable weapon after only existing in the grip of an elite. Furthermore, additions such as the Beam Rifle, Sentinel Beam, Fuel Rod Cannon, Needle Rifle, Brute Plasma Rifle, Spiker, and SMG all broaden your possibilities, fostering encounters that simply weren't available in the original game. And even the original game's arsenal hasn't been overlooked here. The assault rifle's accuracy has seen a tweak, while the plasma pistol's EMP capabilities, the SP and KR rocket launcher's lock-on functionality, and the needler's tracking all now feel more in line with more modern Halo titles. Now, onto the remake's enemy AI, which has been polished wholesale to complement the expanded combat tools. Enemies will now react more intelligently to your positioning and weapon choices, retreating to cover when vulnerable and coordinating flanking maneuvers more believably than before. Marines, for their part, have become more active participants during engagement too, advancing alongside you while making use of the remake's new weapon sharing mechanic, a mechanic available throughout cooperative sessions as well. And here's the thing, the improvements outlined so far aren't just designed to benefit the single player, but arguably grow more significant in co-op. We already highlighted layout redesigns, where resizing gives you room to breathe without competing for the same sightlines, but the remake does more to accommodate extra Spartans beyond just that. Larger squads, for instance, face more aggressive enemy compositions, including an increased likelihood of encountering higher ranked enemy units. The idea here is for you and your team to focus on coordinating together rather than functioning as a unit of solo-minded players all vying for the same kill. Combined with cross-platform play and shared progression, Campaign Evolved's cooperative offering feels like more than simply ticking just a checkbox. It's actually woven into the remake's design philosophy. Perhaps Campaign Evolved's biggest deviation from its forebear is how it transforms repeat playthroughs into something more unpredictable through the enormous expansion of skulls. Featuring 42 skulls in total with 26 returning gameplay modifiers plus 16 entirely new entrants, the skulls' effects range from subtle gameplay tweaks to drastic overhauls. You can alter enemy behavior or make the flood appear earlier in the game. Weapon handling, HUD functionality, visibility filters, game physics, overall difficulty, enemy grenade use, there just seems to be a skull for every imaginable scenario. Better still, collecting 3 skulls on a level unlocks Campaign Remix, which is an all-new mode that randomizes enemy factions, weapon placements, and a host of gameplay modifiers for that particular level, keeping you on your toes throughout your revisits across Alpha Halo. However, Campaign Evolved's skull system isn't just a way to increase replayability, it's a means toward fundamentally reimagining the experience as a whole, putting you in the driver's seat to reshape the campaign to your design. And furthermore, the skull system underlines the remake's core philosophy. We said that at the outset. But Halo Campaign Evolved isn't a replacement for the original experience, but it is an opportunity for one of the most seminal shooters in history to finally reach its definitive version. If the finished product delivers everything Halo Studios has promised, this won't simply be an act of preserving a bona fide classic. It will be the game Combat Evolved players remember playing back in the early 2000s, even if the hardware of the time never allowed Bungie to actually create it. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.